From 1908 to 2003, a span of nearly 100 years, the British cycling team was considered one of the worst teams in history. During all that time, they won only a single Olympic gold medal and failed to win the Tour de France, one of the most prestigious cycling races, for over 110 years. They were so bad that one of the largest and most well-known bicycle manufacturers refused to sell bikes to the British team because they were afraid that if professional athletes saw the British team using their bikes, it would hurt their sales. This continued until 2003, when the organization hired a man named Dave Brailsford and appointed him as the director of the British cycling team. When Dave arrived, he announced that he would implement a strategy called the aggregation of marginal gains. The idea behind it is to take something, break it down into smaller parts, and improve each part by just 1%. When you combine all these small improvements, the overall result becomes significantly better. Dave and his team began searching for ways to improve. They redesigned the bike seats to make them more comfortable, applied alcohol to the tires to increase grip on the road, and had the riders wear electrically heated shorts to keep their muscles at the optimal temperature. But they didn't stop there. Dave and his team continued looking for better ways to improve. They tested different types of massage gels to determine which one helped muscle recovery the most, hired a doctor to teach the riders the best way to wash their hands in order to reduce the chance of catching the flu, changed pillows and mattresses to help the riders sleep better, and even painted the inside of the bike transport trucks white instead of beige so they could more easily spot dust and dirt that might affect the performance of the bikes. With all these small improvements, the results appeared faster than expected. Just 5 years after Dave took over, at the 2008 Beijing Olympics, the British cycling team won 60% of the available gold medals that year. And they didn't stop there. 4 years later, at the 2012 London Olympics, they broke 9 Olympic records and 7 world records. They also went on to win the Tour de France 5 times in 6 years. In just one decade, from 2007 to 2017, the British cycling team won 178 world championships, 66 Olympic medals, and achieved the greatest run in cycling history. So how did this happen? How did a group of ordinary athletes go on to achieve the most successful run in the history of cycling through what seemed like small, insignificant changes? Why do small improvements compound into massive results? And how can we replicate this and apply it to our own lives? Imagine you're in a very cold room where the temperature is minus 25 degrees Celsius, and in front of you is an ice cube. Then we raise the temperature to minus 20 degrees Celsius. Will the ice cube melt? Of course not. So let's raise the temperature to minus 15 degrees Celsius. Did anything happen to the ice cube? No, it didn't melt. Then we raised the temperature to minus 10, then minus 5, until it reached minus 1. Did the ice cube melt? Even though we increased the temperature by 24 degrees, nothing happened to the ice. But if we raise the temperature by just 1 more degree, reaching 0 degrees Celsius, the ice cube will now begin to melt. And the more we raise the temperature from there, the faster it melts. So, was it that last degree that caused the ice to melt? Or was it the 24 degrees before it? If we assume that we exerted effort to raise the temperature, then the effort spent increasing those first 24 degrees was far greater than the effort required for the final degree. But the effort from those 24 degrees didn't show any visible results. Small habits are like gradually raising the temperature. Even though we raised the temperature by 24 degrees, we didn't see any results. The small habits we do daily don't show immediate outcomes. But once you reach a certain point, just like what happened at 0 degrees when those actions accumulate day after day, they reach a critical threshold. But that threshold can be negative. Suddenly, you realize you've gained a lot of weight, or your project has become impossible to finish, or your skills haven't improved because you didn't invest in them enough. The same thing happens with good habits if you stick to them. Suddenly, you realize your body is in better shape, or you've become an expert in a skill, or you've saved up a large amount of money. These results weren't just the outcome of your most recent effort. They were the result of the accumulation of all your small, previous efforts. Good and bad habits operate in the same way. Small decisions accumulate gradually, and then they reach a critical point where change begins to appear. The only difference is the direction they take you, either toward improvement and growth or toward decline and collapse. There is a simple equation that illustrates this idea. If you improve your life by 1% every day for a year, you will become 37 times better than you are today. On the other hand, if you get 1% worse every day for a year, you will eventually reach 0. Whatever you start with, whether it's a small gain or a small loss, will compound over time into something much greater. This concept is hard to grasp. in everyday life. We typically don't account for small changes because they seem insignificant in the moment. If you save a tiny amount of money now, you won't become a millionaire today. If you go to the gym for 3 consecutive days, you won't achieve your ideal body immediately. If you study a new language for an hour tonight, you won't become fluent today. Unfortunately, the slow pace at which results appear makes bad habits easy to adopt. If you eat unhealthy food all day, you won't become overweight today. If you postpone your project until tomorrow, you'll likely still have time to finish it later. If you smoke a single cigarette, you won't get cancer instantly. One decision is easy to overlook. We make small changes, don't see immediate results, feel discouraged, and then we give up and revert to our old behaviors. The impact of changing your habits is similar to changing the course of an airplane by just a few degrees. Imagine you're flying from Los Angeles to New York City, and the pilot decides to adjust the route by only 3.5 degrees south. You'll end up in Washington, D.C. instead of New York. Such a change is barely noticeable at takeoff. The nose of the plane moves only a few feet, but when magnified over the entire country, it results in a difference of hundreds of miles. Likewise, a small change in your daily habits can redirect your life to an entirely different destination. Making a decision that is 1% better or worse may seem insignificant now, but over time, those choices determine the difference between where you are and where you could be. Success is the product of daily habits, not once-in-a-lifetime transformations. With this in mind, it doesn't matter how successful or unsuccessful you are at the moment. What matters is whether your habits are putting you on the right path towards success. You should care more about your current trajectory than your current results. If you're a millionaire but spend more than you earn each month, you're on the wrong path. And if your spending habits don't change, it won't end well. Conversely, if you're broke but saving a little each month, you're on the right path toward financial freedom, even if you're moving slower than you'd like. The results you achieve are merely lagging indicators of your habits. The amount of money you have is a lagging indicator of your financial habits. Your weight is a lagging indicator of your eating habits. Your knowledge is a lagging indicator of your learning habits. You harvest the outcomes of what you consistently repeated in the past. If you want to predict where your life is headed, all you need to do is follow the trail of tiny gains or losses and observe how your daily habits will compound over 10 or 20 years. Do you spend less than you earn each month? Do you go to the gym every week? Do you read books and learn something new every day? These small battles will determine what your future looks like. Time magnifies the margin between success and failure, and it will amplify whatever you feed it. Good habits make time your ally. Bad habits make time your enemy. Habits are a double-edged sword. Bad habits can destroy you, while good habits can build your life. That is why it is so important to understand this subject deeply. You need to know how habits work and how to shape them to achieve your goals. This way, you can avoid the destructive edge of the sword. We often expect success to be linear, or at the very least, to come quickly. But in reality, the results of effort appear much later. It may take months or even years before you begin to see the true value of your work. This is what we expect to happen. But this is what actually happens. And this gap often leads to what's known as the valley of disappointment, a period in which people feel frustrated and lose motivation after weeks or months of hard work with no apparent results. However, that work was not wasted, it was being stored. The full value of the effort you've invested won't become visible until later. There will come a moment when you feel like your efforts are pointless. That's normal. Keep going, even if you haven't seen results yet. Success is accumulating, and once you reach the tipping point, you'll be amazed by the outcome. In the end, the small habits that seem insignificant today are what make the real difference tomorrow. Just as an ice cube doesn't melt until the temperature rises to 24 degrees Celsius, your success won't come from a single, massive leap, but rather from consistent small steps. Every small improvement you make, even if you don't see its impact right away, is a step forward in building your future. Remember, the British cycling team didn't see results until after 5 years of continuous improvement. So don't expect a massive breakthrough. Start today by improving just 1% and watch how everything around you begins to change. Thank you for watching, and thank you for your invaluable time.